Lisa, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming the intimidating TBR book tag. If you've seen my TBR shelf recently, it looks crazy. I have so many books, even though I've been on a book buying ban throughout this month. I read so far I've read 7 books and it hasn't really decreased, visibly at all. I feel like it just becomes more and more, even though I'm right now not buying any books. So this tag seemed appropriate to do right now because I'm definitely a little bit scared of a lot of the books on there, and I worry that I'll never get to them, even though I really want to. And anyway, without further ado, let's just dive right into the tag video. The first question is a book on your TBR that you have not yet finished. And if you've seen my project TBR, to be read video for this year or last year even, you know that I tend to sometimes unofficially DNF books because I just don't feel like finishing them, but I also don't feel sure enough that I will never read them to officially DNF them. So I have a lot of books that I'm in the middle of and still want to get to at some point, but when, that's always the big question. So these are 2 that I read more recently, but since then have not picked up again. And the first, I kind of feel like I always mention this one, but that's The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. I've been in the middle of this book for 4 months now or so, and the other day I felt a short-lived urge to continue, but then I ended up picking up a completely different book after all, and now I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it will at some point. Again, something I always say. And the second book that I have right here is My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. I've told you guys in my spring TBR that I was really looking forward to this book, but I kind of was misled a little bit. Not so much by the blurb, but just by what I'd heard of it. I don't think I even read the blurb before buying it, but I just had different expectations for it, and then when I started reading it, I realized that Sophie Kinsella's books are kind of all the same, and it just didn't feel gripping enough to make me want to keep reading. So I don't know when it's gonna happen. If it's gonna happen, we shall see. The second question is a book you haven't had the time for. And I mean, that's a weird question, I think, because I have not had the time for any of them, which is why they're on my TBR. But this is one that I particularly have been wanting to read, but then I've always said no, not yet, because you don't have the time to marathon the series. And that is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. I really love the Farseer trilogy. Now this is the second, the Life Ship Trader trilogy, which I know I will love. I've only heard positive things about it. I loved all 3 books I've read by Robin Hobb so far. I know this will be a favorite. And the thing is, I know that as soon as I start reading, I won't want to put it down, and that's a problem when you have other things to do as well. So I am for now putting it off, maybe until the summer holidays, or until I have I know that I have the time to really devote myself to this book, because it is just the type of book that I will cancel plans for and skip class for just to read it. A book you haven't read because it's a sequel. Now, when I saw some answers for this, I think most people interpreted it in the way that they haven't read it because it's a sequel and they haven't read the previous books yet. So it makes sense that I haven't gotten to that yet, which I luckily am very proud of myself for that. I don't own any books like that as far as I could tell, because I definitely used to do that. I used to buy the 3rd book, the 4th book, whatever, in a series without having read the first, whatever. But I don't do that anymore. However, there is one book that I would choose as the answer for this, because I have read the previous one, but I kind of feel like I might want to reread it. So I haven't read the sequel yet, which is, I think, as close to that answer as I will get. So that is Arabella and the Battle of Venus by David D. Levine. Actually, I'm not quite sure yet, I should put it that way. I don't know yet if I want to reread the first book or not. So until I have figured that out, this book is just not gonna be read. A book you haven't read because it's brand new. So for this, I have 2 answers, because what I like to do when I buy new books, until I've hauled them, I try not to read them, and I put them in like a special pile so I know which ones to haul. So these are kind of limit, and now I'm gonna show them to you, both of them. I didn't buy them in May, don't worry, I ordered them previously and then they like arrived after I filmed my last haul. So the first book that I haven't read because it's brand new is The Lost City of Z by David Grann. David Grann is the author of Killers of the Flower Moon, which is my favorite book of 2018, possibly, maybe, probably. And this is another non-fiction by him, and this has been turned into a movie that I haven't seen, but it's about an exploration of the Amazon jungle in search of a fabled civilization. And I don't know anything beyond that, but I think it's really pretty, and I've told you before, I love books with these kind of covers that are like, I don't know what it's called, but like that are shorter than the actual pages. I don't know why. And then the second book that I haven't yet hauled is The Wanderers by Meg Howry. And it's stunning. I love this cover. This is actually a second-hand book. I got it used on Amazon and it's perfect. So I'm really glad I didn't pay full price. But I also haven't read this yet, even though I have been considering it because I love Meg Howry and I want to read more of her books. A book written by an author that you read previously but didn't really like. This is also the same kind of thing as with the sequel, where I tend not to buy more books by one author unless I know that I like them, because I don't want to like spend money or waste money basically on something if I don't know whether I'm gonna like the author or not. But again, the closest answer to this would be the song Rising by Samantha Shannon. When I bought this book, was like, I was really into the series and I really had enjoyed The Mime Order, which is the second book in the series, and this is the third. But now that I've reread The Mime Order and not really loved it that much, it's nothing against Samantha Shannon as an author, because I don't think she's a bad author at all. I just think I am like growing out of the genre. It's losing interest on me, in me, with me, whatever. A book you are just not in the mood to read. So this is unfortunate because I was in the mood to read this, but at the time I didn't have the book with me physically, so I couldn't. And now that I could, I'm not in the mood. And that is The Boy on the Bridge by M.R. Carey. This is a prequel, as I've said many times before, to The Girl with All the Gifts, which I loved. And I put this even on my spring TBR, but it's just not happened yet, because every time I consider it, I think like, but I don't wanna. Like, it's not even that I think it's bad or anything. I've heard so many people tell me that it's good, that they really enjoyed it, it's a worthy prequel, sequel, whatever, but I just am not in the mood for it. And the second book that I have picked as an answer for this is Magda by Michael Zielvogel. This is the shortest book on the planet. I just have never felt the urge to read it. It's about Magda, the wife of Joseph Goebbels. I don't know exactly if it's about her life or about her children or something, I don't know, but it's tiny, 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 and I just haven't wanted to pick it up. A book that you haven't read it because it's enormous, and again, I mean, this has to be the default answer for this, because it kind of ties in with why I don't have time to read it. It's because it's so huge. But to also give you an answer that's not just like the same as before, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. How long is this actually? 700 something pages? Yeah, almost 800 pages. And I find it really hard to read anything but fantasies that are this long, because I honestly must say, after every long non-fantasy book that I've read, I felt like it should have been shorter. I never really feel it with fantasies because you need so much world building and there's always these like epic stories happening. But to me, there's just like, often, I'm not saying it's never warranted, but I always, so far, have always gone out of long non-fantasy books feeling like it was too long. Like there was unnecessary stuff in it, because there was no reason to tell the story in such length. I know many people love this. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it, but it's just so long. It's just so huge that it's put me off. A book that you've bought because of the cover. I never buy books just because of the cover, but there definitely were two books that I think, like, where I was like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in this, But then the thing that like pushed me over the edge was the cover that made me like click the buy button. And the first is The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis. I had been meaning to buy this book for a while, but then I saw it in this cover on Amazon. I was like, I need it now. Like, I don't want to read it now, but I need it now because of the cover. And it's just stunning. This is my favorite cover I think that I own. I love this color. It has a golden spine. It is just magnificent. The end pages look like this. Like, oh. It makes me think of like mint chocolate chip ice cream, which is my favorite ice cream, but we don't have it in Austria because it's a shit country. Just kidding. And the next book that I also bought because the cover is awesome is Bluebird, Bluebird by Attica Locke. I mean, just look at it. It is just so cool. I love it. When I saw it on Amazon, I was like, is this any good? It's probably good, right? Because it looks like this. It has to be good. For the final question, the most intimidating book on your TBR. So I have again two, because why not? The first is The Looming Tower, Al-Qaeda's Road to 9/11 by Lawrence Wright. I actually just recently bought this book, and I bought it because I found it interesting, the topic. I need to educate myself on it and stuff, but also it's long and probably very like factual and like non-fiction-y. If you know what I mean. Like in a very like, possibly a very academic sense. I don't know. I haven't even tried reading it yet, but I find it just a little intimidating for obvious reasons. And then the other one is, I don't even know why I find it so intimidating, possibly just because it's in German, which doesn't make sense, because that's my mother tongue, but that's Gott ist nicht schüchtern by Olga Krasnova. I don't know. I think this is about two Syrian refugees, and it's supposed to be really tragic. My friend read it and recommended it to me, which is why I bought it, since I don't really buy like German books. And I do think that that's the reason why I've been like hesitant to pick it up, because I don't like reading in German. I've said it before, I just don't. It doesn't gel with me. I don't like phrasings in German. I think everything sounds cheesy or weird or like contrived in German. I just don't like it. I don't know why. People always ask me like, why do you not like German? I'm just like, I just think everything sounds better in English than in German. But I have actually been thinking about when I read the book, I might do the book review in German. Let me know if that's something that you would care to see. I probably wouldn't put subtitles. I don't know, because it's a lot of work. But you can let me know. I mean, there'll definitely be like a shorter review on Goodreads in English, and I'll like mention it in my wrap-up in English, so you won't like completely miss out, but I would just give my like in-depth thoughts exclusively in German, because I think it makes more sense to review a German book in German. But I mean, first I need to read it, so we shall see whenever that happens. Anyway, so that's it for this tag video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what is the most intimidating book on your TBR, and when and how are you going to get to reading it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel for new videos every Tuesday and Friday. I will see you then. Have a lovely week. Bye!